Just confirm me. Am I audible to you when the PPT is visible? Just make sure that everything is perfect from my side as well as from yours. Is it okay, right? Okay, fine. We'll start at today's class. I think am I audible, right? Yeah, good. Okay, fine. Okay. See, from today we are going to start the evolution. Okay. What are all the units we have completed? We have completed almost uh, we have completed the general concepts, non-core data, cell biology, genetics, and physiology. And from today, we are going to discuss about this evolution. Okay, so we'll start at today's class without any delay. Let them other people also join. We'll start. Okay, see, so first thing we are going to see about an origin of life. Okay, regarding the evolution. So it is the first thing we have to study about it. And the first theory regarding the origin of life will be the abiogenesis. Okay, so here in abiogenesis, hypothesis proposing life arose spontaneously from non-living matter through the chemical reactions. See, abiotic genesis means synthesis, we know that, and abio means abiotic factors from the non-living organic matter. Some life is getting arose simultaneously because of some sort of chemical reactions. See, through this chemical reactions, the life is originating from the non-living matter. This is what a theory related to the abiogenesis. And the second thing will be the panspermia. Here, they suggest the life exists throughout the universe and can be spread by comets, meteorites, and the other means seeding planets like Earth with life-building molecules. See, through this, some universal factors. What are all the universal factors? Like comets, meteorites, and asteroids, like that. So, those are all the cosmology. And because of that particular universal factors, some life building molecules like water, oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and all the essential molecules related to the life building that has been building on the earth. Okay, that because of these universal factors, all these life building molecules have been come to the earth, so that from these life building molecules definitely the life is going to exist. That is what a panspermia is. And the third thing will be the RNA world hypothesis. See, regarding the RNA world hypothesis, here what they are suggesting is that the RNA will be the self-replicating. It proposes the self-replicating RNA molecules from where the precursors to current life forms preceding the DNA-based life. So, what they are suggesting means to for the DNA-based life, the precursor will be the RNA molecule, that is self-replicating RNA molecules. So, from this RNA, the DNA-based life is getting arose. That's what an RNA world hypothesis. Now, deep sea vent hypothesis. See here, it proposes life originating in the hydrothermal vents due to the presence of diverse chemical reactions and energy sources like volcanoes in the deep sea. See, because of these hydrothermal vents, because of the some sort of chemical reactions, oxidation of inorganic molecules, and whatever it is, because of chemical reactions and some of the energy sources, life is getting originated. That is what a deep sea vent hypothesis. Okay, now see here some of the key evolutionary milestones. And first thing will be the prokaryotic cells, how they are getting arose. In the earliest cellular life forms lacking a nucleus or the membrane-bound organelles, that is prokaryotic cells. We know that karyon means nucleus, pro means poorly developed nucleus. In earlier cellular life forms, those organisms lacking the nucleus, they don't have a nucleus, they don't have a well membrane-bound organelles, but these organisms have been emerged around 3.5 billion years ago. Okay, now what is oxygen revolution? Here, the first organism, cyanobacteria, that have been originated around 2.5 billion years ago, that began oxygenic photosynthesis. So this will be the bacteria undergoing an oxygenic photosynthesis. So this particular process leads to an increase in atmospheric oxygen, which means what? It is taking the carbon dioxide and it is releasing the oxygen. Now, this oxygen, which is increasing in the atmosphere, that enables the aerobic respiration. As the oxygen, once again, a life-building molecule, definitely an oxygen-depending organism is also tends to arise. Now, the eukaryotic cells. See here, this eukaryotic cells have been emerged through the endosymbiosis. Endosymbiosis means, see, symbiosis means definitely that will be the association between the other organisms. That too, endosymbiosis. So this particular organisms, that is eukaryotic organisms, has been associated symbiotically with the prokaryotic cells within their body. That is what an endosymbiosis is. And they engulfed the smaller prokaryotes that evolved into the mitochondria and the chloroplast. See, the most important concept this is, that is endosymbiotic theory. See, these eukaryotic cells have been emerged to the endosymbiosis, where these prokaryotic cells engulfed the smaller prokaryotes and evolved into the mitochondria and chloroplast. And these prokaryotic cells have been evolved into the mitochondria and the chloroplast around 1.5 billion years ago. And now, fourth thing is Cambrian explosion. See, these are all the important events that makes an evolutionary change. Okay, so this marks an evolutionary change. So it is necessary to read about all these things. Now, what is Cambrian explosion? Here, there will be a rapid diversification of multicellular organisms. So initially, we have a prokaryotic cells, and later comes the cyanobacteria. It comes into a picture, and there will be an increase in level of oxygen in the atmosphere. And later, because of the increase in oxygen level, definitely there will be the organisms depending on our oxygen will also arise. That is what an eukaryotic cells, and we know that eukaryotic cells through the theory of endosymbiosis or endosymbiotic theory, the prokaryotic cells is the one evolved into the mitochondria and chloroplast, and from these the eukaryotic cells is getting emerged. Now, after that, Cambrian explosion, now the eukaryotic cells have been come into a picture, and after that, there will be a rapid diversification. Diversification means what? Variety of an organisms, that too a multicellular organisms around 541 million years ago. That makes the appearance of most major animal phyla seen today. Right? That is what a Cambrian explosion, where we can find the rapid diversification, where we can find the variety of the living organisms. Right? Now, what is land colonialization? Land colonization. Here, the plants and fungi colonized the land around 500 million years ago. And after that, see, only after the plants and fungi, it is followed by the terrestrial animals, that is land living animals, that adopting a new environmental changes, because it is newly existing the earth. So it faced some of the environmental challenges, obviously. And after that, mass extinction. See, there will be an extinction. Events like Permian and Triassic, that is 251 million years ago, and Cretaceous Paleogene, 66 million years ago. And there, the extinctions profoundly influenced by evolutionary trajectories, which means what? Some of the organisms which has been exist earlier, that will be extinct in this particular years. Okay. Now, human evolution. Homo sapiens, that is what we are now today, that is what a Homo sapiens, we are emerged around 3 lakh years ago, that too in the Africa. Okay, now evolving from, so this will be the later adaptation of human beings, that is Homo sapiens. But before that, before the Homo sapiens, there will be some of the intermediate between monkey and will be the human beings. See, that will be the Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Neanderthal mans, and after that, Homo sapiens come into a picture. Now, what will be the current evolutionary trends? Here, continued adaptation to changing environment, including the cultural evolution, impacting the genetic diversity and survival strategies. Okay, so these are all the things which marks the evolutionary milestones. Now, after that, we are going to study about the important theories, important concepts of evolution, modern concepts of evolution. The first thing will be the natural selection, the most important concept. And this natural selection was proposed by Darwin, with where organisms with advantageous traits for survival and reproduction are more likely to pass on their genes to subsequent generations. See, in this particular concept, Darwin has suggesting that organisms with having all the potentials, okay, both in the survival, both in the reproduction, both in adopting different characteristic features with all the advantageous characters. Okay, only that particular organisms have the capacity to pass their genes from one generation to their next generation, which means what? Survival of the fittest. The fittest organisms can survive. All other organisms will exclude from the competition. That is what a natural selection is. That was proposed by the Darwin. And second thing will be the genetic variation. Here, there will be the diversity in the alleles. That alleles means what? Different form of a gene, different form of a gene, and in that gene there will be a diversity genetic level. That is what a genetic variation is within the population due to the mutation, genetic recombination, gene flow, that providing the raw material for evolution. So you should know that variation provides a raw material for evolution, because more specifically genetic variation. See, that is what, if we married within our relationship, the same gene will be circulating throughout the generation. Okay, so that is what a consanguineous mating is. A mating between a religion, mating between the relations. Okay, that is what a consanguineous mating is. So, if we married within our relation, the same gene will be circulating. But if we married within a population, within two different groups of people, a new gene will come into a picture, and new gene will reflect in the next generation. That is what genetic recombination, where crossing over between two different species. Okay, now, and mutations, some of our mutations. See, always you should not think that mutation, it results in the bad impact of the that particular individual. That is not at all true. See, because of this mutation, we have the monkey has been evolved into human beings. That is what a mutation. So you should know that variation, genetic variation provides a raw material for evolution. This is an important statement. Now, mutation. See, what is mutation? That will be the random changes. See, the DNA is not voluntarily, it is changing their, it is not doing any mistakes. It is involuntarily, unknowingly undergoing some sort of changes. That results in the mutation. So, there will be a random changes in the organism's DNA sequence, providing a new genetic variation. And this genetic variation results in the mutation, and that will be the natural selections which can act. And that is what a natural selection come into a picture. If that particular individual, if that particular mutation, it is good, it has some sort of advantageous traits, it can pass there, it will be considered as a survival of the fittest organism. So obviously that has the capacity to transfer their genes to the next generation. Okay, only that particular individual can survive for a longer period of time. If it is not adapting to any of the external temperature, any of the external disaster, if they can't adapt to that particular changes, they can eliminate from the competition. Okay, they couldn't transfer the genes to the next generation, because they themselves finding a difficulty in adopting certain changes. Then how can they give rise to a next generation? Okay, now, genetic drift. And what is genetic drift here? There will be a random fluctuations in the allele frequencies within a population. How there will be a random fluctuations? Because due to the chance events more pronounced in the smaller population. So, this will be in a smaller population. In a smaller population, there will be a random fluctuation within the same population. This leads to a genetic diversity. This is what a genetic drift. When it comes to a genetic drift, you should know some important keywords. So you should focus on what will be the population is, whether that will be the large population or that will be in a smaller population. So you should know that genetic drift always in a smaller population. That too, in a smaller population, you can find random fluctuations, okay, within a population, and these fluctuation leads to a genetic diversity. That is what a genetic drift is, right? Now, gene flow. And here, there will be a transfer of alleles between the population through the migration and interbreeding. See, to migrate, some group of people or some group of organisms will move from one place to another. There will be they meet a newer individuals, newer species within the same population. That results in the genetic diversity, and they reduces the genetic differences between the population. There will be the flow of genes. See, once again, I repeat, there will be a transfer of alleles. Transfer of alleles means what? Different form of a gene between the populations. Okay, between one population to the another population. Why there will be a transfer of alleles? Because of the migration and interbreeding. Okay, now that influences, definitely they influences a diversity, genetic diversity. Okay, and they reduces the genetic differences. They reduces the genetic differences between the populations. That is what a gene flow. Now, adaptations. See, adaptation means they are suited to that particular environment, okay, through the changes in the phenotype or behavior. See, if you find the animals or the organisms in the colder climates, they have been equipped with their body with a lot of fur. See, just see the organisms in a tropical area, how the animals are looking like here and in the colder climates. See, there will be the variation. They are adapted to that particular environment, and according to that particular environment, they are adopting some sort of morphological changes. That is what an adaptation is. To survive in that particular environment, they are they are acquiring a certain characteristic features. That is what an adaptation is. Now, speciation, the most important concept. See, what is speciation? The many questions will be come from this topic. Formation of new and distinct species. Okay, so here a newer species is getting formed through the process of reproductive isolation. The most important keyword, you have to make a note of it. Through the reproductive isolation, either it will be allotropic or it will be a sympatric. So you should know what is allopatric speciation and what is sympatric speciation. Allopatric speciation means that will be a geographical separation. Two different geographical area, and there will be the mating between these two particular species, and it results in the formation of newer species. That is what an allopatric speciation, right? Now, in case of a sympatric speciation, within this geographical area, there will be two different species, and the mating between two different species within the same geographical area, it results in the newer species. This is what an allopatric and the sympatric speciation is. Okay, now what is co-evolution? This is also an important concept. Here, there will be a reciprocal evolutionary change between an interacting species. So, to explain more elaborately, there will be a predator-prey evolution. See, there in some locality, there will be a predator also, and there will be a prey also. Okay, there will be an eagle also, there will be a snake also. Snake will be the prey of a predator eagle. Okay, but in that they are emerging simultaneously. That is what a reciprocal evolutionary change between the interacting species. Here, the predator and prey are an interacting species. Host and parasite. Host and parasite means what? Parasite will live within the body of the host or in the outside of the body of the host, but they are evolving simultaneously. Okay, that is what a co-evolutionary is. These two species are evolving cooperatively. Okay, and mutualistic partnership. That will be either a prey predator relationship or host parasitic interaction, or it will be a mutual partnership that will be evolving cooperatively. This is what a reciprocal evolutionary change. This coevolution is considered as a reciprocal evolutionary change. Right now, what is molecular evolution? Now, the study of changes in the DNA, as it is a molecular level, and we are studying this evolution molecular level, at the molecular level. That is what. So if we study the molecular evolution, definitely the DNA come into a picture. And here, the study of changes in the DNA and the protein sequence over a time, providing an insights what gives rise to a newer individuals. There has to be some sort of changes within the DNA level. Okay, obviously there has to be the changes in the DNA level, and if there is any changes in the DNA, definitely the mRNA will changes, and if there will be the mRNA changes in the mRNA, definitely the synthesis of protein is also changes. If there will be changes in the DNA, if there will be any changes in the protein synthesis, definitely there will be it has an impact on the molecular that the impact on the morphological level, right? This is what a molecular evolution is. Okay, and what is evolutionary developmental biology? Here they focuses on the understanding how the changes in the developmental process. See, there will be the changes in the developmental process contributes to the evolutionary changes and origin of the phenotypic diversity. Okay, see, if there is any changes in the molecular level, definitely there will be the changes in the developmental process also, in the cleavage, in the right from the fertilization, in the formation of the zygote, and from the bastulation, gastrulation, and so these are all the developmental process. Definitely, if there is any changes in the DNA, definitely it also have an impact on the developmental process also. And if it deals with the changes in the developmental process, that study is called as the evolutionary developmental biology. Right? Now, what is cultural evolution? Here, there will be the transmission of cultural traits, behaviors, knowledge between the generations. See, we have, if a certain group of species have a common ancestor, but from this common ancestor, through the some evolutionary changes, it results in, it gives rise to a different species, but they have a common ancestor. So this ancestor have a different behavior, different knowledge, and but their progeny, through this long generation gap, these progeny also have a different behaviors, different characters, different knowledge. How this is happening? This is what a cultural evolution is, impacting on the human evolution alongside the biological factors. So this changes, difference in their characters between their ancestor and from the newer generation. This is what a cultural evolution is. Right? Now, evolutionary medicine. Applying the evolutionary principle to understand and address medical issues such as disease, resistance, genetic predispositions, and impact on the modern lifestyle. See, this ancestor somehow has the capacity to adapt to that particular environment. If they have find a drought, and if they have find a certain diseased condition in them, they find difficulty to adapt, to resist to that particular changes. But these new individuals, they have find a solution because they already experienced their certain different conditions. So obviously this ancestor gives rise to the next generation with certain advantages. That is what an evolutionary medicine is. Okay, now, so we are going to study about certain theories, some theories related to the evolution. First theory will be the Lamarckism. Okay, Lamarckism. And this Lamarckism theory was put forth by the Jean-Baptiste Lamarck. Okay, what is his theory will be the use and disuse theory. If we use a particular organ, it will continues to develop, and it will transfer from this generation to the next generation. This is what his theory is. And if we didn't use certain organism, like if you didn't use the hand, definitely the hand which is not in use in this particular generation, it will absent in the next generation. This is what his theory is. Let me elaborate in detail. See, propose that organisms can pass on acquired traits to their offspring, that is, the trait acquired during the organism's lifetime. For example, a giraffe. See, initially the neck of the giraffe will not that much long, it was short, but the source, that is the diet of this giraffe will be the tree. That is it will be a herbivorous animal. So definitely it has to depend on the tree. Okay, when the giraffe is there, there will be no grass in the land, so it has to take the food from the tree. So it can't eat as its neck has very short. So it keep on stretching, and at one point of time it has elongated stretched neck. Okay, so it keep on uses the neck to it keep on stretching the neck. As a result of this use theory, it is acquiring the long neck, and this long neck, it has been acquired the same character to the next generation also. This is what a Lamarck theory is, but it is not accepted by almost all the scientists. Most specifically, after the theory of Darwin, the Lamarck theory is lost its importance, because Darwin came up with the newer theory called the Darwinism. That is, it's more specifically dealt with the natural selection. He emphasized on the natural selection as a primary mechanism of evolution. So what he is suggesting is survival of the fittest. Organism with the advantageous trait for survival and reproduction is most likely to survive. What does it mean means, if one organism has all the advantageous characters to resist the disease, to resist whatever be the temperature, whatever be the climate, if that particular organism can withstand all the natural disaster, not natural calamities, only that particular organism can pass their genes to the next generation. This is what a natural selection is, right? And it was accompanied by Alfred Russell Wallace. Okay, who was supported. Now, newer Darwinism. In this particular theory, some of the scientists have added up. Ronald Fisher, JBS, Haldane, Sewell Wright, and Theodosius Dobzhansky. So these are all the scientists supported the newer Darwinism. And here that will be the modern synthesis. It integrates Darwin's theory of natural selection with Mendelian genetics, emphasizing genetic variation, mutation, population, and genetics. See, what Darwin has suggested means one organism having acquired certain advantages, right? Only that particular organism has the capacity to survive. Okay, but if they have to acquire certain advantageous traits, definitely there has to be a changes in the genetic level. So this newer Darwinism has been accompanied this Mendelian genetics. So that is what a newer Darwinism is. Now, what is punctuated equilibrium? Punctuated equilibrium is somewhat related to an evolution that occurs in spurts of the relatively rapid changes, followed by periods of stability. Okay, and this is contrasts with the gradualism. So we have two different concepts. One is punctuated equilibrium, and another one is gradualistic theory. Okay, so in punctuated equilibrium, there will be a rapid changes. Okay, rapid changes, and that will be a stable changes, stable and rapid changes. That is what a punctuated equilibrium is. And gradualism is that the changes will be gradual, which means what? It is not rapid, it is not that much fast. It is a gradual, okay, step by step. That is what a punctuated equilibrium and gradualism is. And this punctuated equilibrium was put forth by Stephen J. Gould and Niles Eldridge. Now, what is genetic drift? See, the most important concept is here it emphasizes on the random changes. Random changes within a population, that too in the smaller population. You have to focus all these keywords. Okay, so you should know that genetic drift always in the smaller population, rapid changes in the allelic frequencies within the population. How these rapid changes is getting occur means due to the chance of events. particularly significant in the larger population. We see, you have to know there will be some sort of factors influencing this genetic drift. Okay, and this was put forth by the Sewell, right? Now, what is natural theory of molecular evolution? And this was put forth by Moto Kimura, and he is suggesting that an evolutionary change at the molecular level, and this changes is due to genetic drift acting on the neutral mutation that do not affect the fitness. See, he is saying that some neutral mutation, it is not going to affect the organism's fitness. Some mutations, that is a neutral mutation, that is not going to affect the organism's fitness. So it is not affecting their survival. That is what a Moto Chimera is, and he is suggesting, he is supporting his theory with some sort of suggestions in the molecular level. He also did his research at the molecular level. Now, and evolutionary developmental biology, the same thing. It was put forth by Peter and Rosemary Grant, Cian B. Carroll. Now, the same thing, that is evolutionary developmental biology. It means what? It is focusing on there will be a change in the developmental process. It will be impacting on the phenotypic diversity. Now, what is cultural evolution? Here, they examine the transmission of cultural traits, behaviors, knowledge, and as usual. As I said before, the same thing is repeating here, and this was put forth by Richard Dawkins, Dan Dennett, Robert Boyd, Peter J. Richardson. So you should know that the name of the scientist and the name of the theory and some of the basic ideology, what that theory is saying. That is sufficient. So answer for this question, what is the prevailing hypothesis regarding the origin of life on Earth? Prevailing hypothesis regarding the origin of life on Earth. So we have 7 more minutes, so you have to answer the question very quickly so that we can finish it soon. See, the prevailing hypothesis regarding the origin of life on Earth will be the abiogenesis. Okay, see, it is not spontaneous. Definitely, there has to be the life supporting molecules has to be there. Only then the life will be getting originated. In case of abiogenesis, there will be the certain organic compounds will be there. Only from that organic compounds, the life is getting originated. That is what a prevailing hypothesis is. Life arose naturally from non-living matter through the chemical process, through the organic matter, and with the help of this chemical process, the life is getting originated. That is what abiogenesis is. Okay. And here, which yearly Earth environment is often suggested as conducive to the origin of life? Six more minutes. Very good. That will be deep sea hydrothermal vents, because these vents are rich in some of the chemicals. So obviously the chemical will supporting the life existing on the Earth. So what will be the precursor to the life due to its ability to store the genetic information and catalyze the reaction? So the hint will be the catalyzing the reaction. One genetic material have the catalytic activity. I have been explained you when I teach the molecular biology. Very good. That will be the RNA. RNA has a catalytic activity. It can act as a genetic material. Okay, it is involving in decoding the information. It is involving in transferring the amino acids. So lot of activity was done by the DNA. What was likely the first metabolic process used by the early life forms for obtaining energy? First metabolic process used by the earlier life forms to obtaining the energy. So you have to know whether straight away the photosynthesis is came. Aerobic respiration. So initially the oxygen came or not, and fermentation. If the fermentation has to be happen, definitely there will be in need of chemicals. Okay, so in the as a result of fermentation, definitely the end product will be the lactic acid, alcohol, and chemolithotrophy. Chemolithotrophy means what? Chemo means chemical, litho means a rock, and there will be the oxidation of inorganic molecules. The energy is getting from that. So you have to think an answer. That will be fermentation. Very good. See, it is a simpler metabolic process that can occur without oxygen. So there will be no need of oxygen, and definitely there will be carried out by anaerobic organisms. So you should know that anaerobic organisms came first. Only after that oxygen came into a picture, because of the cyanobacteria is taking the carbon dioxide and releasing the oxygen. Only then the aerobic organisms come into a picture, right? Now, which even significantly changed the Earth's atmosphere, paving the way for the evolution of aerobic organisms. And what is that event? That will be great oxygenation event because of the cyanobacteria, right? No. Mm. So that's okay. We'll move to some. So these are all the questions related to the theory, how it is, how life is getting emerged. Okay. Which concept proposes that organisms with advantageous trait are most likely to survive and reproduce in a given environment? That will be natural selection, obviously. Okay, with favorable traits in the for their environment, have a better reproduction success, obviously. Which process contributes to genetic diversity within a population through the exchange of alleles between different populations? So you should know that there will be the exchange of alleles here. Now, what is getting transferring here? Within a population, that will be gene flow, obviously. See here, there will be an exchange of alleles. So there has to be a flow of genes happening here. And you should know that that will be happening because of the migration and interbreeding that will increasing the genetic diversity. Now, which evolutionary concept suggests that evolutions occurs in a rapid burst of change followed by a periods of stability? So this will be your keyword, a rapid burst change followed by a period of stability. Very good. That will be the punctuated equilibrium. And if it is a gradual, then that will be called as what? If it is a gradual, then what it is called as? There will be a two concept. I have explained you, right? So just tell me what is, if it is a gradual, what is that? You should tell as phyletic gradualism. Okay, it is punctuated equilibrium. If it is a rapid and followed by a period of stability, and if it is a gradual, then you should say that phyletic gradualism. Okay. Now, which theory integrates Darwin's natural selection with Mendelian genetics, emphasizing genetic variation and role of mutations in evolution? That will be obviously neo-Darwinism. Okay, so we have less than 1 minute, so we'll stop up to this. See, this PPT has a lot of questions. Just solve it out. And for tomorrow, you have to study and come the isolation, speciation, natural selection, Hardy-Weinberg law. If time permits, we'll solve also the other questions, other topics. right? So if you have any doubts, you can ask me, and that's all.